I really like your approach to budgeting. I mean, with what we worked with. So do you want to talk a bit through that?
Yeah, well, like you said, we treat budgets like crash diets, but budgets are, I would say, like exercise. December, when everyone, all of us, January, everyone rushes to join the gym or pick up new exercises because all of a sudden we have a revelation. And you know what? I need to get fitter, I need to get healthier, I need to lose weight, whatever it is. And then we all go into what the latest fad of exercise is. Like, yeah, if we all do CrossFit, we're all going to, lose weight. And we know it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that, and it's not for everyone. We're all very different in our abilities, our bodies are different, how we take things are very differently. And people tend to think budgeting as one way, that one CrossFit exercise, and that's it. You're all in. You have to, really scrimp and, be tight and count every penny. And it really isn't like that. There are several methodologies to budgeting. And like with exercise or with diets, you have to find the one that fits you and your lifestyle and how you do things, because we're definitely not all the same. And you'll start doing it and you'll give up in the same way as we all then don't go back to the gym after March. And it's like you're giving excuses. I can't know that because I'm doing that now. I signed up to a class and I've just given up now because it's just not for me. But yeah, it's exactly the same way. So finding that right budget for you, that right budget methodology, and not fearing those words, it's just a way to budget. There are different ways that you can budget, different budgeting methodologies. One of the ones that I love the most that I think that I talked to you about was the pay yourself first budgeting methodologies. And this one for me works well for me because it's basically saying to me, think of yourself first. Think of the things that are important to you, that you want for yourself first. Yeah. And then after you've done all of that, after you've deducted from your budget all the things you love for yourself, like one of them for me is massages. We live in Thailand, so of course this is an essential for me, absolutely essential. It's essential for me for relaxation. It's essential for me for mental wellness. It's my thing that helps me keep going. And everyone has their own things, and saving and investing is another thing for me that is critical. So instead of budgeting the other way, where I take off all the money for the bills and then what I have left is what I may save and invest, I take off money for all the things that are important to me, and then what's left is what determines what I can give the electricity board or my landlord. So it kind of determines for me what type of life that I can live with what I have left.
No AC this week.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Right. So yeah, it kind of, says that to me that, yeah, we all need to huddle in one room this week because there's only AC in one room because I need my massages. So it's that way. But there are several other budgets depending on who you are. So again, it's about finding the right budgeting methodology for you yourself based on how you live your life on a day-to-day basis. What's important to you? How you think and how you function, and then doing it that way. It's the only way that you can then stick to a budget. And again, whether it's an app, whether you're writing everything down in a tiny little book, whatever it is, find a way that works for you. And I think I've mentioned this to you. For my husband, what works for him is he likes to have everything in cash. He's a visual person, and he has his little tin in the kitchen, and that's his weekly budget, and he takes it out and puts it in, and that's how he works, because that's the only way he can function. He's not tech savvy. He doesn't want to look at apps. He doesn't want to look at his bank account. He wants to know, this is what I have, and I want to see it as it sort of deteriorates. So that's his budgeting methodology, and we make that work together. So again, find what works for you. Find a methodology that works for you. It's the only way to be able to sustain budgeting.
I remember as well when you spoke about budgeting, you were saying how it has to be realistic, right? If you're scrambling to make it work and it feels like, treacherous, it's not going to last.
Absolutely.
So in that case, okay, you're changing things, right, or you're finding a way to be able to increase a budget to fit in with your life, or then there's bigger changes that need to be made.
Absolutely. It's like you're forcing yourself to live a life that is not sustainable.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Because if you're trying to stick to a budget that is really difficult for you to do so, then you need to evaluate what is on that budget. Okay. And again, there was a lot of us who simply cannot do that. It's just, it is what it is, right? But by breaking down your budget and creating that budget for yourself, looking at what your priorities are, what are your essentials, what are your nice to haves, what are things that are essential to you, and really validating. I remember we went through an exercise where I was really pushing and saying, why is that essential to you? Why do you feel that that's essential to you? Or looking at the line items and thinking, well, why are you paying that amount? Why do you need to pay that amount? Have you gone back? Have you challenged trying to pay less? Have you looked at alternatives? Different things, like by really going through the budget and breaking it up and validating why everything is there can be a really useful exercise to help you stick to your budget.
That, I think, was one of the things that I really, really kept from what we worked together, was going through all the line items and then having you challenge me on, well, why are you spending that amount? And then I would say, well, that's just how much it is. It's like, well, have you looked into alternatives? I remember I had Zoom and you were like, why are you paying for Zoom when Google Meets is free? It's like, oh, because I use Zoom. Yeah, but you're paying for Zoom. I mean, you know what I mean? The other alternative is free. Well, what's the point? What extra are you getting from it? Yeah. Unless I could really explain why it was necessary to be spending that, then all of a sudden in my head I would realize, actually, it's just because it's the way that it is.
Yeah.
And you think those small amounts don't make a difference?
But they do.
They do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're paying, I was paying whatever, between 12 and 15 euros a month, well, I can spend that amount on going for coffee. That makes me a lot happier.
Yes, and that's the key thing, is then saying, well, if, yes, you think it's the way it is and the money's there, but could that money do something else that would serve you better?
Yeah.
And by questioning that, could that money that you're spending on that thing that you think is just there because it is the way it is, could that do something else for you that would make you happier, that would serve you better? That's the ding, 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 thinking, oh yeah, it could, actually. Because for me, it was like, oh, get me an extra massage. Instead of paying for $9.99 for Spotify, I went to the Thai Spotify. Well, yeah, I mean, it is the way it was. I didn't want to change my shuffles or have the Thai language and have to change it. But I thought, well, for that extra inconvenience, I could get an extra massage. I thought, yeah, the inconvenience is okay. I'll have to just put my phone and translate it to do that, because the trade-off was a lot better.
Yeah.
So it's really asking yourself the why.
Yeah.
For your line items.
And questioning it as well.
Yes.